Ooh, back up, guys, back up, easy. Okay, yeah, hello YouTube on this fine Sunday morning. Out here, it's 65 degrees. It's gonna be a hot one today. And of course, the exhaust fan has to be on. Hey, this video I'm gonna give you some fun facts about our riverfront. And right now, we're gonna start with our favorite place here on the channel. Our ballpark, home of the Clinton Lumber Kings. But this stadium was never like this. We'll go by this one gate. I'll explain what used to be here and how the field used to play. Okay, as you see behind this gate, the concession back in 2009, the field was totally renovated. At one time, the field, and the way it is now, used to play uphill. So they had a level with the field. And all of this berm area you see in here, the berm area, that used to be never been there. That used to have never been there. The clubhouse used to never been there. What used to be here at one time was a, believe it or not, a Little League diamond called Jones Field. It had a set of restrooms, concessions, and a press box. A lot better was over there. That's Miller Diamond over there. That's where the Pony League, that's Little League over there. And of course, the big parking lot over there, as you've seen in our past videos, that used to be a dirt parking lot. The campground, years ago, we never had a campground. It was, and we did, the original campground was vertical, about 3 or 4 rows vertical, to its current format you see back in the distance. You gotta check out older videos on that. One of these days I'll do a walkthrough video on that again. Over there used to be the equestrian horse ring, and of course everybody remembers the old track. Used to have tractor pulls and demolition derbies, where an event used to call Riverboat Days. I gotta have a video on that back in the day, years ago. Right now, next clip, let's check on this eagle's nest before it disappears in among the leaves. Okay, with this camera, you can probably tell from our previous video, is that an eagle's nest or not? A lot of you guys said it is an eagle's nest. That nest will eventually get bigger over time. How much bigger, it all depends how the eagles build it. And that. So that's why I had to bring this camera down, get it filmed and documented here on the channel before one or two things that happen. The leaves pull in, or that tree gets knocked down at the next severe weather event that could happen between this video and the next. Over my lifetime here on the riverfront, this riverfront has changed drastically over the years since the early 70s. Reason was because in the early 70s, the dike as we see it right now never existed. Oh, sorry about the wind, guys. I don't have the wind muff today, but that never existed. That was put in the 70s for the flood control. Now, this building right here is going to remind me of a building at an old marina that's went out of business years ago on the north end of town, where it has a floating concession stands. I remember that vividly when I was a kid. Used to walk on a pier similar to this, and used to get like one of those icy sticks that you get in the stores, and some novelty ice creams and all that stuff. The reason they're putting this in to make it more convenient for the boaters to get their fuel, to get their ice and all that stuff, so they don't have to go to shore all the time. So that's why they're putting that in. And of course, if you go to check our recent Big Adventure 2, you will see some similar buildings like floating restaurants and gift shops up there in what was it? Guttenberg. Oh yeah, in Guttenberg. But McGregor probably has one too. But otherwise, it was in Guttenberg that had them. But of course, the iconic lighthouses. We have 3 of them here in town. We used to have 5 at one time, if I remember correctly. I'll probably be corrected, but I did remember we used to have 5. We had to sacrifice 2 for the dike. Many people will probably ask on the channel, what's those black piers? Used to be a few more of them. but that used to sit the Mississippi Belle 2 Riverboat Casino. Both the original and the new boats. Both of those boats are currently, right now, is in Moline, Illinois, as the Celebration Belle fleet. Both of those boats. As we look at the candlelight restaurant on the top floor, and people said when they built this building on the top floor, it resembles part of it resembles of the old boat club. Yes, Clinton used to have a boat club here, but it was never here. The boat club was located down there. We'll get down to there a little bit, but yeah, before the dike, all this wasn't here in the 70s. And that showboat at one time was sitting in the river when they bought it back in the 60s. I think it was like I think they spent $66,000 to turn that thing into a showboat. And how they got it in here is just amazing how they got able to do that. And of course, everybody knows about our famous showboat. Well, how they got it up here? Did they lift it with helicopters to get up here to be dry docked? No, I'll tell you what happened. If I remember, during the day, this part of the dike was open. They built it, but they left it open for a purpose. What they did was they floated in this boat backwards in, set it where they needed to, tie it down on something like that. Let me get out of the wind and explain better. Okay, what they did was they backed the boat in with water inside the thing, and what they did was after they got it in and settled, then what they did was they enclosed it either up here or down there, but more likely they enclosed it here because this is tend to be a lot wider than it is down there. So they enclosed this in, and what they did was as they were filling with water to get it up to a level, they also was filling in dirt at the same time. So I think that's how the engineering went. I may be wrong on that one, but I think that's how they did it. They raised it with water, filled it in with dirt at the same time to strengthen this dike as much as possible until you get to the desired level to the way you see it today. And all they did was filled it with all dirt, pumped out the extra water. Now the only time you see water down in here is due to heavy rains. And of course you see grass growing, but they ain't gonna stay very long because during the summer it gets hot and dry. But yeah, that's how they basically got this boat land docked, basically dry docked with that procedure, because if not, this boat would be still sitting in the water. And yes, if you do sit this boat in the water, because the hull is so rusted, that boat will sink immediately if it's tried to refloat it ever again. Oh, by the way, it was not known as the City of Clinton Showboat. It was known as the Lillian Russell Theater, but the original life used to run as a towboat, not here in the Mississippi River. It was run in Virginia, West Virginia and West Virginia on those rivers, and the original name of this boat, the Rhododendron. You've probably seen this in many parts, but that little flat area right down here, just above or below my finger right here, that's used to be the original level of the levee. So the first pile of rocks was the original shoreline of the Mississippi River. Then you got that little walkway right there. It always floods at this time of year, but it hasn't been underwater since last year at this time. And from there, that's when they started building up the dike, up to his current level. Basically like this, and it's wide up here, so we will drive and walk on it. And according to engineers, named this dike one of the most dangerous dikes. Tend to be flood, tend to break down sometime in the next major flood. But the problem is, our seepages are where they're its thinnest, which is down there, and up there north in the town. That's where it seeps the most. But yeah, there really will be seepages in a way. It's just natural for a dike similar to this. Okay, yeah, Chuck, you pervert, you're filming in a bathroom. What's wrong with you? Here's what's wrong. Reason I came here is, see this original sidewalk right here? That's the original sidewalk to a building that used to stood right here you're going to see that picture coming up right up here. Used to be the Clinton Boat Club here. Before the boat club, I know it's windy, guys. Let me film this in a different position, okay? And like I said, used to sit right here because this is the original sidewalk to it. Used to go on the riverfront there. But yeah, this used to sit the old Clinton Boat Club. It was 2 levels. It was a club for boaters. And in the final years, it served. You to reserve for weddings, dinners, banquets, and all that stuff. I think the original parking is still here. It's been renovated a couple times, and that tree is still here after the boat club's been torn down. These bushes just planted after they tore down the boat club. They used to sit right here. Of course, that was awesome. That was an awesome building back then, but it was damaged by tornadoes and vandalism and all that stuff. So that's why they tore it down. But I think there's other reasons. I think Brian Hardy might correct me on those. Because, of course, over the years, this has changed. This used to be the tennis courts at one time. Now they changed it to a pickleball court and volleyball court. Because documented skate park, which is a much improved. Grass is filling in places, which that's good. We'll have an update on that. And of course, the public pool was never like that. I remember it used to have a different form. Not a very safe place to swim in, too, either. Sorry about the wind, guys. Just want to make a clip here. But this pool back in the day never had all this current stuff, and the pool was never shaped like that. If I can dig up that that photo, I'll put it up here in the corner if I can find that photo. If I do, it's right up here right now. What the Clinton Municipal Pool used to look like, used to have that oval look to it. It was shallow, then it dropped off to the deep part because the diving part of it, like you see over here, the diving wells was in the middle of the pool. So basically you go down to the shallower end, and all of a sudden a big major drop off took place. It was ruled unsafe by those standards back then, but they changed it to a safer pool now, and this is what we got. And of course, a little water park was added just a few years ago. Water slides were added first, then the splash pad and the diving well slide basically was added recently. This piece of land right here, I documented. We did a video on a carnival that was on there. That's the grounds where they do the Tailgate and Tall Boys concert series, which is coming this June, which we're not vlogging. But that whole property from here down over there, that's now over there, about right here, that's now owned by Lion Energy. And over here is all used to be from there, from what Lion Energy owns, and all this property right here used to be Allied Steel. When that closed in the late 80s, early 90s, a lot of people was hoping to have it gone and all that stuff. But right now, it took a lot of years to get it back to like a park almost on that. But it's on that piece of land, I say play at your own risk. And of course, that was one of the locations I would love to see a small amusement park right there. Not very big, just enough to entertain the people during the summer months. Will we see that? Probably not happening. Like I said, sorry about the wind, but we see the current band shell. We see it as is today. Let's say they add a couple features. Let's say they add a couple spotlights up there to shine on the crowd. They added a couple security cameras recently because unfortunately this got hit with vandalism in the last few weeks. But then the original band shell did not look like this at all. This was renovated shortly after the demise of Riverboat days. But that's not the original band shell. The original band shell stood over there next to Rubens Memorial Fountain. Since they moved that old tree here, the power thing right there you see, in case they want to bring back a festival or so, at least they'll have power and water source there connecting in case they don't want to bring back some form of Riverboat days. I've been hearing rumors it could happen. Okay, this bench right here, lonely little bench. But I don't think this was the original location of the band shell. I think, I might be right, I may be wrong, but the location looks like this could be right in here. It used to be the old band shell. It was an arch type band shell, and actually looks like a shell. And that faced it, the performers had to face in this general direction. Not like that one, we had to face towards that general direction. Of course, our artwork right there, which we don't hardly see, and all that stuff. Okay, before we wrap up this video, how high the water was in this area back in the 1965 flood, before they put in the dike. And of course, guys, I was born in 1967, in September of 1967, to be precise. Right here where I'm standing at, next to the ballpark and all that stuff, the water level would have been in here back in 1965 flood, would be about right here, approximately right here. But then there's places in this riverfront where the water could have got up to neck high. That is kind of a good major flood right there. But that's in certain locations here on riverfront. But mostly they were about somewhere about chest high, about right in here, in places which inside the ballpark would be about right in here, where the player stands up against the wall, would be about right in here, approximately inside that ballpark. Yeah, back in April of 1965, it was roll your boat around the bases and the field paths. So before the dike was put in at the peak of the 1965 flood, Lubbock Fountain was literally underwater. Literally was underwater. Now the dike put in the 70s, the Showboat is dry dock, new band shell. Riverfront has always changed over the years and evolved over the years, like the ballpark has changed over the years. The marinas has changed over the years. The one that closed, this one renovated. So a lot of changes takes place on the riverfront. So you never know what new changes you see from year to year on the riverfront. Maybe one of these days they'll turn this fountain into a mini Bellagio fountain. Would that be cool? Okay, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. I just had to come up here and do this kind of video to show you the eagle's nest out there and talk about the changes over the years of this riverfront. Most of you guys never knew about the changes. I hope you guys, for the photos I was able to find on a lot of clips I added in this video, I hope you guys enjoyed those older clips that I was able to find here on the internet. About the Clinton area and all that stuff. There was a lot of changes that happened in this town, and changes is always, as all cities, they do evolve into something better. Sometimes, in some cases, it goes the opposite direction. The job market in the 80s was fantastic. I mean, the job market is not bad today, but it could be better and all that stuff. But yes, a job market to make a city grow is always important anyway. Just some people in town need to get rid of that attitude of they don't want the factory in their backyard. They want the jobs, but they don't want the factory in their backyard. It's the same old argument I've been hearing since the 1980s. I've been hearing it all these years and that. But yeah, things has changed over the years. Either for the better or for the worse and that. But main thing, what helps build a city, usually the infrastructure. Because when I was up here filming, there was all people taking pictures of the Showboat and the ballpark area, because maybe this is their first time in town and that. But I'm glad I shared what the riverfront used to be like back in the day. I found out some old photos. As you saw earlier, I did found some old photos of the old Lumber King ballpark back in the day. Yes, that used to look like back then in the day. And that changes always happen. Either for the better or for the worse. It's how you view it and that. Right now, there's no change about this. It's time to end this video. Please like, share, subscribe, don't forget the subscribe button, notification bell. We'll have Angie back on the channel tomorrow. She should be feeling better tomorrow. We'll see you then, okay? Bye, everybody.